Hello, you two handsome gentlemen.
I take it you're speaking to me.
Talking, yeah, I was gentlemen. Gentlemen. I was like,
it's both of you. It's both of you. You're both better looking than me, so you're handsome gentlemen.
Well,
you're not bad looking. You're all right.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, this is, you know what? 2023 is already starting off great when Gerard Butler.
You got a great head of hair, man. Look at you.
I see. I like you got like are you a ginger with a beard?
Yeah. I'm like a hybrid sort of like
pseudo ginger.
Yeah. Daywalker. I think that's what they call us.
Celtic blood in you there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. A lot of Irish Scotsmen in the family.
Okay, we're friends.
Anyway, so I just want to ask, starting off with Plane, did you guys both sign on to this movie to make sure that I will be afraid of flying forever?
We were just talking about that.
Yeah,
that was pretty much the purpose of both of us doing this movie.
Because then we're going to make a movie called Boat. You know, it was just basically everyone's going to stay home. Subway, boat, bicycle, bus,
spacecraft. No, actually, that's boring.
No, I love that. That sequence was so good. It was. From now on, my carry-on's just going to be a parachute.
A parachute. I thought you said a pair of shoes. I was like,
no. That was my carry-on before, but not anymore.
That was the parachute. Okay. Good luck getting out of those doors while there's a commercial airline on the engine.
Sucked into the engine.
TSA is going to ruin it every time.
It's like this.
Bad idea.
So Gerard, as Brody, you spent a great deal of time in the cockpit. Did you actually take any flying lessons for the film?
Yeah, I went up in a small airplane a few times, and then I spent many, many hours in this incredible flight simulator down in Orange County in California. And I basically was working with two pilots the whole movie and the pilots from the simulator. So I got to fly all over the place, practice takeoffs, practice landings, practice all the maneuvers in the movie that you work through the movie, every sequence, and then trying to land a plane that's like 100 feet above the ground, flying over the 405 freeway, the 101 freeway. And then basically in the cockpit, I hung out in that cockpit a lot, the one we used in the movie, just to get really comfortable. I wanted to know as much as I could so that I didn't feel like that wanky actor, who's just sitting up there going, what button do I press? That I actually knew what things were for, and that I earned that, because you got to do a bunch of things at the same time. And when it gets into it, you really want the audience to go, oh, I actually do believe these two guys are pilots. I'm in this with them.
Yeah.
It just helps the journey so much.
Yeah, I was watching him and Yosin.
No, I want to keep speaking of
them. No, good. I was going to compliment him and Yosin for pulling it off, because I literally bought that, as a Scotsman and Yosin being, I think his character's from, I get confused. Yosin's from New Zealand, but he's Chinese, I think. But there's this sort of like idea that these two pilots that were multicultural were just happened to be tossed into this small regional airline, and they were flying people from all parts of the world to some destination on New Year's. It made sense, and I bought the way that they behaved in the cockpit, that they were actually people who had flown together. They were familiar with each other. Like, the second, what do you call him? He's the what do you call Yosin's guy? He's like, you're the captain.
The first officer
and the co-pilot. So I bought that there was some sort of familiarity and some sort of customary things, checks and balances that they did and they had done before. You know what I mean? It seemed pretty authentic to me.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that was great, which is why I wanted to ask Mike. Without getting too deep into spoilers, where do you think Lewis ends up after the movie? Because I feel like, as far as like sequel opportunities go, like he's still got a lot to unpack and explore there.
It's funny. I don't know. They tweaked the ending a little bit here and there, and I remember them. We talked about it. I think it was really smart on their part. I mean, a lot of times when you make a film, the details, or the details, as people like to say, are very important, because it's sort of how people feel when you walk out of a theater, right? Like, there's no happy ending, but there's something satisfying about the way this movie ends that I like, and it's sort of still ambiguous. There's potential there, but again, you got to see how this goes and how the audience responds to it. But the ambiguity of it all, less is more, making people think. I think audiences like to think. You can't. Every film that I've ever thought that really sucked, they did too much in terms of just giving you everything.
Absolutely.
And the more information you get, the more like you start leaning back. Because you're just being soaked and saturated with information, and a lot of it's meaningless. Like, what okay, the guy was from here. This is what he did. Blah 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 blah. And you're just going, yeah, okay. Da, 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 da. Now, when you give them a little bit, and then you watch the person do, and you watch the person, the behavior and the situations the person is, you start to infer things. You start to inquire, but you lean in because you're curious. And I think this film keeps the audience curious about everybody, even though the whole film you're invested in the characters and you're hoping that people survive, but you're still curious about who really these people are. So I think they did a really good job with that. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely.
By the way, I just to say, because as somebody who worked on the script, I know what happened to him. And I'm very happy to tell you.
Oh, God.
Don't tease me like that, man.
I got a feeling I'm not going to like what he's going to say.
Went off and became a gynecologist in Oklahoma.
That was the
That's
secret.
where the next movie opens up.
Okay, that's the secret.
Amazing. Now,
Gaspard a minor gynecology. That was the whole secret, you know.
And I knew it all along in the movie. I could tell. I know what he's up to.
Yeah, murder. You didn't see how the murder happened.
Now, I got to say, Gerard, I'm eagerly awaiting Night Has Fallen. Have you heard any updates on that, or is that still in the works?
We have a script for that, but I haven't been working on it at the moment. I'll get to it, but we have a really fun idea. It just needs to be developed. But I was just taking a break from the very reason that one of the reasons I was attracted to playing is it's been fun recently making action. I always say I want to play more the Tom Hanks of action movies rather than the Mike. Let me take a break from the Mike Banning, where it's literally 7 or 8 full-on fight sequences in every movie, fist fights, and actually climb into characters that are real who have to pull something extraordinary out of themselves. That an audience can really identify with, because that's what we need right now. We need, in a way, real heroes. Life is tough. It's a bit of an escape. And I think to go and see movies like this and put yourself in those kind of hellish, challenging scenarios and then be able to walk back out again, but maybe take some ideas from or just some inspiration from it and have had a lot of fun without having to go through what I think a lot of people are going through in the world right now, to be honest. It's cool, and it's great to make those movies that are an escape.
Right. Mike, one last question. I work for ComicBook.com. I apologize in advance for this. I will get yelled at if I don't ask something about Luke Cage. Kristen Ritter was seen, with the Daredevil shirt on. Are you keeping yourself in Luke Cage shape in case you get the call from Marvel to come back?
I just try to stay in reasonable shape just because, but I don't think about, I don't think about the Luke Cage opportunity because it's one of those things where it's in the rearview mirror at this point. And if somehow I get a call, I mean, my dance card is kind of full, but I mean, look, if I get a call and something happens, great. But I had a good time, and I'm more than happy to let someone else take on that mantle or that role. But the fans, that character will live on for a long time. Fans are going to have that character in some way, shape, or form for the rest of their lives, and I'm just happy to have been a part of that for those guys.
It was a rhetorical question. I can see the gun show. I know that you're staying in shape. Hey, guys, thank you so much. I'm out of time. I love the movie. I can't wait to see it again. Thank you very much.